live from KTUL Tulsa. You're watching Good Day Tulsa.
And also get prepared for Constitution Day with the help of a celebrity historian.
I did not know that it was a Constitution. I didn't know it had its own day. That's pretty cool.
It's a good thing we have a historian for that.
That's exactly right.
We'll get prepared for the 235th anniversary of the Constitution with the help of our celebrity historian friend, Raffi Andonian. Can't wait for it. We'll be right back.
Well, tomorrow is the 235th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution. So are you fully aware of the history of the Constitution as we approach its anniversary? No worries, because we have some help for you. Joining us in studio to get us fully prepared for the anniversary is celebrity historian Raffi Andonian. Thank you so much for coming in. I didn't realize that the Constitution had its very own day to celebrate everything about it.
Right on the 235th anniversary.
Yeah, just in time. You're here just in time to help us learn a little bit more about it. So I know you said you had some trivia questions for us.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. What is the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? Of the 4 questions you gave us, this is the only one I really do know the answer to. But for folks that may be a little confused on the difference, what is it?
So the Declaration of Independence, of course, is on July 4th of 1776, and it was drafted by Thomas Jefferson on the $2 bill.
$2. Don't see those often anymore.
Now, compare that to the Constitution, which is 11 years later in 1787, and it's drafted by James Madison. Whereas the Declaration is about the ideals of the Revolutionary War, the Constitution. The war is already over, and it's time to govern, so it lays out a blueprint for our government.
Okay. All right. So now, how many governments did we have before the Constitution was drafted?
So the Constitution is our second form of government. Before that, it was the Articles of Confederation, the first draft of which was written by Benjamin Franklin on the $100 bill.
You know, they don't pay us well over here. So
No, that's not the draft that we ended up using, the Articles of Confederation. It went through many iterations. But ultimately what happened is most of founders, there was a consensus that the Articles of Confederation was too weak. The Congress didn't have power to levy tax. They could not regulate commerce. And they didn't even really have a true executive branch that was able to enforce the laws. So it was too weak. So they thought, we need something new. And that's how the Constitution came around.
That's how it came about. Okay, so it was just meant to be a little bit stronger. All right, so, and you said how many times they tried twice to create the Constitution. So why did some of the founders originally oppose the Constitution?
Yes, they tried twice to create the Constitution. One was at Mount Vernon, which, of course, the home of George Washington.
Yeah. That's what they pay us. See, I won't even try to bother taking that one from you.
And then, of course, they tried again later in Annapolis, Maryland, and only 5 states showed up. And then in Philadelphia in 1787, the convention we all know is when that happened, and that was to improve the federal government like we talked about. So there were 3 times they tried. There were 2 governments, but then there were 3 times they tried to get the Constitutional Convention to come together. And what happened after the convention is that it was not over. Had to go around the different states. There was a lot of debate about whether this is good for the country. People don't realize a lot of times that the founders did not have one voice. There's a lot of debate about this. And that's why Alexander Hamilton, on our $10 bill, he led the way for publishing the Federalist Papers, which is a political advocacy series of essays that are published to help promote the Constitution getting through. So what did the opposition exactly believe? Well, they thought a lot of different things, many reasons for opposing, but there are 3 main ones that I think of. One, sovereignty. You know how the Constitution starts with we the people? Well, the opposition worried that makes us one people, one nation, and that's shifting the sovereign from the states to one group of people. They wanted to see the states keep that sovereignty. Number 2 was unanimous, meaning that the Articles of Confederation, which was still in effect when the Constitution is circulating, required that unanimously all states require and approve it. But the Constitution said, no, we don't need to do that. We just need 9 states on board, and this is in place. They didn't like that. And finally, number 3, rights. What that means is the Constitution originally was just the 3 branches of government. There was no Bill of Rights. There were no rights written in it. And the opposition said, we need to have our rights enumerated explicitly in here. James Madison, the drafter of the Constitution, a few years later, hearing all those complaints, and after the Constitution was implemented, he came in and added those first 10 amendments based on that feedback from the debates. And that's how we got our Bill of Rights.
Never had any idea. See, it's sad that that what I know about history a lot of times is based on the musical Hamilton. So I'm glad that you're here to teach me a little bit more about
what person in promoting the Constitution.
Yes, I remember very little from history, I am ashamed to say. But I'm glad you're here to help us learn more about the anniversary of the Constitution, which is tomorrow. So thank you very much for coming to tell us. I'll let you take your money, begrudgingly. All right, the 235th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution is tomorrow, September 17th. If you'd like more information, just check out his website. It's amazing, celebrityhistorian.com. You will not believe how much you don't know until you learn it.
Big thanks to celebrity historian Raffi Andonian and his beautiful wife for these wonderful cookies. They're homemade, and you know homemade is so much better than...
Absolutely.
Well, not
yeah,
homemade.
These are yummy.
They're phenomenal.